Kyle Larson, or Young Money in this case, was able to get his third straight win and his ninth overall of the 2021 season. And coming into this race, there are a lot of drivers that needed some good runs. And coming out of this one, it's going to be a pretty tight battle going into the final race of the round of 8 at Martinsville. And we have a lot to talk about from Kansas. Hey guys, NASCAR Mobile 48 back again, and welcome back to another episode of NRR. In today's video, we're going to be reviewing the 2021 Hollywood Casino 400 from Kansas Speedway. The race, it went pretty good, I'd have to say. It was a pretty nice, solid, intermediate race, and I just realized this was the final race on a 1.5 mile track for the Gen 6 car. That's freaky, because then next week it's going to be the final race for the Gen 6 car on a short track. So that's some pretty spooky stuff, but the next gen car is incoming, so watch out for that. And yeah, before we go ahead and get ready into this review, we're going to go over what we have to do. We're going to be looking at our top 10 finishers. We're going to rate the race. Then we're going to talk about the biggest story of the race. Once we're done with that, then we're going to be looking at drivers who had a good and bad race and round it up with the playoff standings at the end. So yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and dive on into this episode. Kyle Larson able to get his 15th career win, his 9th of the season, and he is, like I said before, he is one more win away to be the first driver to win 10 races in a single season, since Jimmy Johnson did back in 2007, and Jimmy Johnson went on to win the championship in that season, and this is his third straight win. He won at the Roval, won at Texas last weekend, and gets the win today at Kansas, and also he wins on the day Hendrick Motorsports lost the 10 people in the plane crash back in 2004, 17 years ago today, and he was running in that Ricky Hendrick paint scheme. So a really cool tribute for Kyle Larson and the 5 team and just Hendrick Motorsports overall. 17 years they will never forget. But it was a really great race for Kyle Larson. They won the first stage, and it was pretty competitive in stage 2. It wasn't going to be easy for them because they were being challenged by their own teammates. Chase Elliott, William Byron, they were running pretty well. He did hit the wall in the final stage, but overall he came back. He went back to the lead, and Harvick was putting some pressure on him. Same thing with Chase Elliott, but Larson was able to hang on and get his 9th win of the season. So congrats to Kyle Larson. Really, to be honest, Kansas and Martinsville are supposed to be tracks that's like practice for him going into Phoenix, but he's just winning. So wow, he's not going full try hard in Kansas and Martinsville, but hey, he's just that good. So congrats to Kyle Larson and the 5 team. Chase Elliott comes home in second. Chase Elliott had a really solid day as well. He was running pretty good up there in stage 1, challenging Kyle Larson and William Byron and stuff. And then Elliott, he was just up there all day. He was really competitive. The second best Hendrick car, in my opinion. He did take the lead at one point. He was running really well. Fortunately, he had a pretty bad restart because Harvick went 3 wide going in the first turn. So Elliott lost a lot of spots, but he was starting to gain back. He could have catch Kyle Larson, but he did hit the wall a couple times and stuff, and it was just important for him to just finish in second and just to not lose any more spots. So good for Chase Elliott to get a nice second place finish. Now going into Martinsville, I believe he is above the cut line, so that's definitely a race for them that they can win and advance already without having to worry about points, but we'll see what happens next weekend at Martinsville, but still a decent day for Elliott and the 9 team. Finishing in third was Kevin Harvick. Kevin Harvick as well had a really great day, something I didn't really expect out of them. But hey, it's Kevin Harvick still trying to get his first win of the season. He ran really well, especially in the later portion of this race. He almost took the lead at one point. He was trying to head down Kyle Larson, but Larson was just too good for Harvick to try and take the lead away from. So Harvick had to settle with the 3rd place finish. So it was a solid day for Kevin Harvick and the 4 team. They still only have 2 more races left to get their first win of the season, or they could go winless after having a 9-win season last year. So we'll see what happens, but a nice solid day for Harvick and the 4 team. Finishing in 4th was Kurt Busch. Another driver had a really surprising solid day was Kurt Busch. He, just like Kevin Harvick, he was starting to show up in the final stage as well. He was running in second. He was running extremely well, and then kind of fell back a bit, but was still able to get a nice solid top 5 finish and stuff. Still trying to get that final win for Chip Ganassi Racing now with 2 races left in Martinsville and in Phoenix. Looks like it might be Atlanta being the final win for the CGR, but still nice solid run by Kurt Busch and the 1 team, still trying to look for that final win for CGR. And rounding up the top 5 in 5th was Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin was definitely 100% the least talked about playoff driver in this race because he didn't run into any issues. He just had a really solid day while other playoff drivers were having issues. Hamlin was just running his own race, had a really nice solid day, and gets a nice solid top 5 finish. And once again, he's still above the cut line. So going into Martinsville, maybe after stage 1 or even stage 2, Denny Hamlin could go ahead and lock himself in to the championship four. So we'll see what happens for Denny Hamlin, the 11 team, but a nice solid finish for that 11 team. Finishing 6th was William Byron. William Byron was also having a really great day. I mean, he was running really well in stage 1. He took the lead at one point. He was battling with his teammates. He won stage 2, and he was running pretty well at the beginning of at the beginning of the final stage, but then kind of fell off a bit towards the end of the race and stuff, so he comes home 6th. But a nice solid finish for William Byron overall. I just feel like they were definitely a top 5 car, so they definitely deserved a top 5 finish. But you get what you get, and besides, Byron's not even in the playoffs anymore, so they're just really just looking for a win overall. But we'll see in these next 2 races. They should be some pretty solid tracks for Byron, but a nice solid finish for Byron in the 2014. Finishing in 7th was Martrix Jr. What an eventful day for MTJ. I mean, it was just a really great comeback for them after having the issues today and now coming back home in 7th. I don't know what happened because they hit the wall and they had a tire go down, and eventually he ran out of fuel, but he was able to come back to get a top 10 finish, so that's really good for Martrix Jr. because it could have been a whole lot worse for him, but he was able to remain and stay and just get a nice solid top 10 finish. So congrats to Truex. They're still below the cut line, but they're in a range of just pointing their way into the next round, or they could just go ahead and get the win at Martinsville because he won there earlier this year. So we'll see what happens, but a nice solid finish for MTJ. Finishing in 8th was Christopher Bell. Another nice solid top 10 finish for Christopher Bell. He's been getting his way up into the top 10 against these other playoff drivers. He's just been having some nice solid runs lately. Nothing really to say about this race and stuff because he wasn't as good as he was today than he was at Texas, because Texas, he knows that track a bit better, but still a nice solid finish for Christopher Bell overall. But this is their 4th straight top 10 finish so far, because they got one at Talladega, then they got one at the Roval, last week at Texas, and today. So nice solid top 10 finish again for Christopher Bell and the 20 team. Finishing in 9th was Joey Logano. Joey Logano, just like Denny Hamlin, had a pretty quiet day as well. He didn't really run into any issues in particular. I mean, he was running... I mean, he did have an issue at one point, but I forgot what it was. But he was running pretty solid, I guess. He was able to come home, get a 9th place finish. So a decent day for Joey Logano and the 22 team. Now going into Martinsville, where I believe they're... Technically, I think they can point their way in. I forgot the playoff standings going into Martinsville, or I think they may have to go ahead and win that race. And rounding out the top 10 in 10th was Austin Dillon. His first top 10 since the Southern 500 when the playoffs start. But a nice solid finish for Austin Dillon overall. He did definitely piss off the Ryan Blaney fan base a lot after today's race, after he kind of got loose and just clipped Ryan Blaney. Blaney was just an innocent bystander, so sucks for Blaney, but Dillon kind of messed up right there, just got loose and stuff and just went up the track, and Blaney was there, so that does suck for Ryan Blaney. But Austin Dillon overall, he gets a top 10 finish, so solid finish, I guess, for the 3 team. And now let's rate this race. This race was really good in my opinion. I mean, it was a pretty great race. I mean, to close out the Gen 6 era on the intermediate tracks, this was pretty good, I have to say. Texas wasn't too bad, you know, for Texas standards, but for Kansas, this was actually a pretty solid race. I mean, stage 1 is when we had all those issues with the playoff drivers like Kyle Busch, Truex, and Keselowski and stuff. Stage 2 was nothing really happened. Elliott basically dominated, but then somehow William Byron won this final stage. And then stage 3 was actually really enjoyable as well, because the restarts were crazy. I mean, they were crazy, and they were racing a lot, a couple laps after the restart, and then they started to settle down a bit. But it was a really solid, great race in my opinion. So if I had to rate this race, I'll give it a nice solid right here, 8 out of 10. A really great race in my opinion. Not really one I look back to, but I would say probably one of the better Kansas races I've seen in a while. So it was really great, definitely better than last year after the Larson, I mean not the Larson, but Logano and Harvick thing. But still, I rated it 8 out of 10. Let me know what you guys would rate it in the comment section below. So this week's biggest story of the race is going to be talking about the playoff struggles that we saw today. Just like Texas, we saw some struggles. Today we saw even more. So let's go ahead and start off with these drivers one by one. First up, we'll start off with Kyle Busch and his struggles. He had a flat tire early in the race. Caution came out for that, and they counted that as a competition caution. So definitely a huge setback for Kyle Busch right there. And then he was able to make his way back up into like 12th, and he was running pretty decent. And then later in stage 2, he got frustrated with Bubba Wallace. I forgot what he was yelling about. I don't even know if he was mad at Bubba Wallace, but I'd have to check back and look and fact check that. And then Kyle Busch got back into the wall a little bit after him screaming on the radio and stuff, so that was an issue for him. And overall, Kyle Busch just got 28th today, so really bad looking for Kyle Busch. I believe he's like 4th or 5th below or above the cut line. I have to check again. We'll check after the end of this video, but still, Kyle Busch did not have a great race today. He's gonna need a really good one going into Martinsville. Next up, Joey Logano. I remember what happened now with Joey Logano. I believe not all the lug nuts were tight on the car and stuff, and there could have been a vibration. So I believe Logano had to come back in the pit road to get that fixed and stuff. So that definitely cost them some time. But they were able to rebound and get a top 10 finish, which was really good for them. So 9th place, not bad for Logano. Next up, Brad Keselowski, who also had a pretty eventful day. He was running really strong at the beginning of the race, well, before the caution came out for rain and stuff. After that, I don't know what happened. He had right front damage. He was losing a ton of spots. Then he had a front right tire go down. Huge issues for them. And then later throughout the race, he was running pretty decent, just trying to get his lap back, I guess. And then he was just struggling and stuff. And I think he had to come back down pit road for another issue. So a pretty bad day for Brad Keselowski. It all started in the first stage. So once that happened in the first stage, they had to continue with that throughout the entire race. And they ended up finishing in 17th, which isn't too bad, but still not too good. So definitely not a good day for Keselowski, because I believe they are in a must-win situation going into Martinsville. And then also Ryan Blaney, another driver who had issues. He kind of struggled early in the race because I believe something about shifted winds or wind shifting, I believe. That's what the commentator said. And I think that's also what caused Kyle Busch to get loose and make contact into the wall. And after that little scuffle, Blaney seemed all right. He was running pretty solid until that one restart. I believe Austin Dillon got loose and just collected Blaney. Nothing Blaney could do, just innocent bystander. Any other driver who was in Blaney's spot would have also been taken out. So nothing Ryan Blaney could do, just an unfortunate mishap for that 12 team. I believe that they're in a must-win situation. Actually, no, I think they're like below the cut line by like 1 or 2 points or something, because he was like 27 or like 31 points above the cut line before that incident happened. So that must suck for Ryan Blaney now, having to be in a situation like that going into Martinsville. But we'll have to see what happens at Martinsville, because Blaney, he's pretty decent at that track. And then finally, we also talked about Martin Truex Jr. of the struggles he's had. He had a tire go down after making contact into the wall, and he also ran out of fuel, I believe, during green flag pit stops. I don't know how he messed that up, because I believe someone in the Xfinity Series did that, and they messed up. But still, a decent day overall for Truex. He was able to rebound, get 7, so that's pretty good. So we'll see what happens now, because I think he's also still below the cut line. So Truex still needs to have a really good race at Martinsville next week. So here are the drivers who I thought had a good race, starting off with Ross Chastain. He got 13th today. His best finish in a while, to be honest, I think since the beginning of the playoffs started. So nice solid finish for them. Bubba Wallace got 14th. A nice solid race for them, and they also got some points in one of the stages. Daniel Suarez, he was struggling at the beginning of the race, but then he comes back to get a nice solid 15th place finish, and he's been having nice solid top 15 runs these last couple races, so that's good for the 99 team. And also Michael McDowell, just want to shout him out. Since Talladega, they've been having a nice 16th, 17th or 16th place finishes, so that's really good for them. Just want to shout him out. And shout out to Parker Kligerman. My guy gets a 20th place finish in his first start of the season, so congrats to Parker Kligerman on a nice top 20 finish. Gets 20th today, and probably need to buy one of those hoodies that was on the QR code on his car, so that's pretty cool. So those are the drivers who I thought had a good race. Now let's look at those who had a bad race. So here are the drivers who I thought had a bad race, starting off with Ryan Newman. Newman, I'll say, had a neutral day because after he spun out and stuff, he was still able to finish 27th, which isn't too bad, to be honest. I'm surprised he didn't finish in the 30s, so I say he had a pretty neutral day. Tyler Reddick, I don't know what happened. He was running really comfortably in the top 10, and it fell back to 22nd because I think he had to come to the pits for, like, he was smoking and stuff. No idea what that was. And then Anthony Alfredo, once again, finishes 38th, I believe, in the 38 car. Oh my gosh. He hit the wall, pancaked it, tire went down, finishes 38th. Sucks for them after that, so 2 bad weeks in a row for them. And next up, the 77 of Justin Hayden. I just want to shout him out because this was actually their worst finish since Coda, which was dead last. They got 39th today, so that does suck. So sucks for them, but that's what happened. So those are the drivers who I thought had a bad race. And so now, here are the playoff standings now going into Martinsville and coming out of today's race at Kansas. We all know Kyle Larson's onto the championship four with 2 wins now. Chase Elliott is in second, plus 34. Hamlin's in third, plus 32. Kyle Busch is in fourth, plus 1 over the cut line. Then below the cut line, you have Blaney, minus 1. Truex, minus 3. Keselowski, minus 6. And then Logano, minus 26. So those are your playoff standings. Now heading into the final race of the round of 8 in Martinsville. So if you wanted my honest opinion, anything can happen. I think even Logano could make it because I predicted Logano, Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, and Kyle Larson make it. I don't know why I didn't pick Chase Elliott, but hey, that's me. So we'll see what happens now as those are your playoff standings now heading into the final race of the round of 8. And that's going to do it for today. So guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Should be having some more uploads coming soon. If you want to check out my gaming channel, link will be in the description. Go subscribe over there. We gained 12 subscribers since this past Monday, so I do appreciate those that have subscribed. I'm supposed to be making a video up there tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. And also, if you want to follow me on Instagram, link will be in the description. And if you want to subscribe to this channel, go ahead and click the subscribe button. It's totally free. It would mean a lot to me. We're at 177. And so that's going to do it. So see you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your night. This is NASCAR Mobile 48. Peace out.